Yeah, so my name is Christy Thrift. I am the owner of NC Outdoor Adventures on Little Mills Road. During the storm, this was completely underwater. This is the railroad tracks, railroad tunnel. It was built in 1916 and we go through the other side. Guess what? It's here after the flood of 1916 and it's here after Helene. But the mud was about up to here. No one could get through here until about 3 days ago. It was all neighborhood folks and neighbors that got us out. We were down here for about 3 days with no other outside help. So we actually cleared the road ourselves. We dug this out ourselves. We got neighbors insulin that needed insulin. We got water to some folks that had been without food and water for 36 hours, and tried to evacuate those that we could. And several people have decided to stay, but we got a lot of folks out. But getting there was hard. So like when we came down here, I'll show you where the houses floated away. Yeah. And we were coming down here. The reason we were coming down here is we actually wanted to see if our neighbor was okay. We didn't know at the time that the houses were floating away because we were below the water line here on this road. Our house is actually 200 yards away from the river, but the river had come up 100 yards closer to our home. So what we could see, all of this was underwater here. This is our tubing put in. If you see over there in the distance, the metal thing, that was a swinging bridge that was over here. And this was my friend Lenny's home. Lenny's still missing.
Oh, this home?
The house, the chimney.
I'm sorry to hear that.
We saw his house float away. This was all during the hurricane, y'all. So like, as soon as the winds were enough where we could safely get out, we came down here.
Would you say that was roughly maybe 12 on Friday?
I think it was like 10, 11 o'clock
10. So you
when
guys...
the wind started to die down. And now mind you, I think the important thing to say about this storm in western North Carolina is Thursday night, this river is typically, the Toe River is typically 1.5 to 2.5 feet of water. Thursday night, before Hurricane Helene ever got here, this was 9 feet.
Yeah.
Action stage, I'm a swiftwater rescue technician, action stage for this river is 6 feet. So this was at 9 feet and flooded. This part of this road down below us was already underwater before the hurricane ever got here.
Yeah, we were set up for failure for sure with how flooding beforehand.
And so we already had that. And then, of course, like I said, Lenny's house over here, Lenny is unaccounted for. We've been looking, we've done our best, we've contacted everyone we can contact at this point. The day before yesterday, we went for search and rescue, which means I'm searching and rescuing people to search and recovery. It no longer means I'm searching and rescuing people, it means I'm searching and recovering bodies. That terminology is extremely important, and social media doesn't want to get that out there, but I think that's unfair to those who've lost people or who have missing. They need to know that we are now in a recovery mission. They need to start preparing that if they're missing or have not contacted them, that they need to start preparing themselves for that outcome.
Right. Yeah.
So that was Lenny's house. These were cinder block homes. All cinder block homes. They were 2 stories. There were 3 of them. So this house picked up. It floated. It was only above the water for a few seconds. I think what
this
happened,
one right here?
Yeah. I think what happened is the swinging bridge was still, the cables were metal. So I think it might have clipped the cables and then it just went under. These, we didn't see this happen, but as this was happening, we were hiking up the backside of our mountain because we couldn't get to our neighbor. Our neighbor's house is over here.
That house?
So yeah, we went to that house to rescue, or to check on our neighbor. After we realized that the homes were floating away, we knew we had to get to him. Because that was the closest place we could get to check on someone. And most of these folks are elderly, and we couldn't get to him the normal way, so we had to climb up the side of our mountain. And of course, during the hurricane, climbed up the side of the mountain, got to him. He did say he was planning on leaving if the water got past a certain point. He had what we were calling the go line. It was a leaf line. The water, he's the red porch on the front there. The water got a few feet, maybe 2 feet below his porch, but it never hit our go line. But during our climb up the mountain to check on him, after this house was gone, Mr. Garland over there saw the cinder blocks home here. This cinder block home picked up intact. It twisted, it hit this home, it picked up intact, so now we got 2 cinder block homes above water, intact, spinning. And then it hit this one. The neighbor there was on the 2nd floor at that time. and there were waves hitting his feet from the river. We saw him exit the back of the home, or he saw him go into the home, but we didn't see him exit the back. And I think what had happened was we were looking for a pink shirt, and I think he might have put a coat or something on, or just for some reason we didn't see him go up the back. But he did escape. We thought he was dead for the last few days, but he's not.
So he headed off out into the woods, you think, up the hill?
That's the only way out.
And
had to climb them out.
he rode out the winds and the river and everything in the woods.
Absolutely. All of these people on this road here, anybody that is alive on this road, which, by the way, I've heard social media saying like there are 8 dead in Spruce Pub. Maybe they have 8 confirmed bodies, but I have to tell you the truth here, folks. You can smell the bodies in certain places along the river. There were vultures out. They have marked, with they being the National Guard, have marked over 100 bodies in a 6-mile stretch of river. Possible bodies, just where they think they are. You can't see them, guys. The bodies, the smells, the things are either buried in sand or they're up in the trees and they're crushed in sediment.
Yeah, I just saw a chicken right there. You couldn't really tell. Like, you'd smell something, but you saw flies.
Yeah,
So the National Guard, is there a lot of National Guard helping right here?
There weren't at first. The first 3 to 4 days, we were down here by ourselves. We were helping each other. The only way, this entire thing got cleared to here by locals, by the local farmer and our neighbors. The evacuations that happened on this road were primarily started by myself and my neighbors and the local farmers on this road. And then the National Guard got here the day before yesterday. I'm so confused on my days because I haven't had internet or Wi-Fi.
Yeah.
But the National Guard did get here, and the National Guard, in collaboration with some fire and rescue folks, were able to help us airlift a 96-year-old couple that had dementia, and they needed to leave. They couldn't stay here. And so we were able to get choppers to them and get them out.
That's good.
But, people are still missing. They are now bringing in body recovery teams. Their goal is to specifically get and retrieve bodies so that they can get them to the medical examiner and check their teeth records. So that process is really hard. And it's going to be really challenging. Like, a gentleman handed me body bags, which I had body bags in my car all day yesterday. And I had to explain to him something that had to be explained to me, even as a rescuer. When I watched the National Guard and they confirmed that the smells I had been smelling were most likely bodies, I was like, well, where are they so I can get to them? You can't get to them. They're crushed in debris. They're up in trees. They're under sediment. They're under sand. Unfortunately, it will be a very long time before you find all these people that are missing. And I haven't even had internet, so I don't even know what the number is. And they don't have a number here yet because we're still getting communication.
And where is here generally? Would you call this Green Mountain?
This is called Red Hill.
Red Hill.
That's called Green Mountain.
Okay.
But here's the kicker. The county line was the river. The river's way wider.
Yeah.
So we're in both counties. It's changed.
Right.
A lot of folks kept asking me questions like the swiftwater teams that were coming out. They weren't rescue again; they were recovery. They were asking me how deep the river is. As a river outfitter, and a boater, we have like rocks that we use. We have landmarks that we use. They're gone. I can't tell you how deep the river is because I don't know. And every single water gauge on this river was knocked out by the flood. And we had a working water gauge during Hurricane Fred, and I've reported it broken since Hurricane Fred, but they never fixed it. So, and that was the only flood gauge for the entire Mitchell County.
Are those put out by like NOAA?
North Carolina Emergency Management is in charge of the gauges, and then they're supposed to get in touch with the state and tell the state when they're broken. But hey, I've only reported it to the state and North Carolina Emergency Management, the county, and the city of Mitchell County since Hurricane Fred, whatever year that was. And so we still don't have a working water gauge. We didn't during this event.
Wow.
It would have been nice.
Yeah, absolutely. I know the French Broad had water gauges, and I was telling people it's already here. It's going to be 10 times as high. Get away from this location.
Absolutely. Well, and by the time, I think that's an important thing. By the time I got that text this morning, go to high ground.
Yeah.
I got it yesterday.
And we're a week past the flood.
Correct. So that that go to higher ground came in after everybody up here lost cell service. So, mind you, no one got, these people probably didn't get that alert because no one had cell service at that point. That's when, I don't know what happened to the towers, I still don't know, but when that cell service went out before electricity did, like we didn't.
Is your cell service still out?
Yes.
A week later? So yeah, like you said, you don't have internet. You obviously don't have power there either. Probably, when do you expect to have power?
They don't know. They're saying in a week. I'm not sure. We'll see. They're saying the biggest thing that Bradshaw Fire and Rescue is where I've been doing a lot of my volunteering or helping with those guys lately. The person running the disaster relief up there is saying this is going to be an ongoing effort. So what's happening is we're getting all these supplies in, and these are little teeny tiny fire departments. They don't have, people are upset because they're getting turned away with supplies. It's not because we don't want your supplies. It's because we don't have anywhere to put them.
Right.
And we have people looting, so we can't just leave them out. And since this is going to be an ongoing effort, we need you to bring those supplies in periodically. We've got enough of like food and water now. We need to change gears because it's going to be 40 degrees on Monday.
Yeah.
Our concern up here is most people, luckily a lot of people have wood stoves because these are really old houses. But I think a lot of the people that didn't evacuate, when it turns 40, they might change their mind. It's going to be cold and miserable.
And that's what a lot of emergency groups, I know you're not on their internet, they've been putting that out for the local region that, please start bringing in
propane.
Clothing.
Propane.
And yeah,
absolutely.
Propane.
It's gorgeous. I wish I could show you. All these trees, this is all green. This was green grass. This was a willow tree. There was a 19 trunk oak. It had 19 trunks that just got eaten up. No, this is green and beautiful. And now it's sand piles. And I think it's important to mention, everybody's like, why is it so sandy? Because it's not like this in other parts, right? It's just mud. There's a reason that this is this way. You see that shiny stuff in there? It's mica. But these mines up here, there's 6 mines here. And they actually produce quartz silica. Every smart device in the world, every smart TV, every smart anything has to have quartz silica or it won't work. So right now, the tech industry is in they're spazzing out because all the quartz silica is here and no one can get to it because all their intakes from the water are trashed.
Well, also, it looks like the railroad tracks come right up to their building and the railroad tracks down there are ruined.
Oh, yeah.
So that's a big issue too, right?
Correct. So they can't, the quartz silica, the sediment ponds, the washing, all of it is on hold right now because there's so much damage and they're all in Mitchell County. But because of the mines, we don't have, in the Piedmont you have red clay. And I think this has contributed to a little bit of why the erosion here is just so vast in this county is because the soil and sediment of the bank is made mostly of sand. And it's sand and sediment from the mines. It's what they have left. So you're not seeing the red clay that holds the banks together here. You're seeing the sand. Look at that sand over there. It's all sand, like a beach.
Yeah, which is kind of weird for the mountains.
And that is because of the mining industry here. Yeah. And it just makes the banks a little looser. So as a matter of fact, we were planning on live staking, but yeah, I don't even know about live staking at this point.
Right.
I don't know how you would fix this.
It's hard to say. There's we're passing excavators going by, and it's like, where do you start? I guess.
That's what I felt when all the supplies were coming in. A lot of people in the fire department felt that. Where do we start with all these supplies? How do we start sorting them? How do we get them to people? And today's efforts were mostly spent with ATVs and 4-wheelers, getting supplies on the ATVs and 4-wheelers and getting them to the other end of our county, which is the other end of the river, which is Poplar and Pigeon Roost, because they were completely cut off. The river got really, it's bad here, but those people got really hammered down there because that's where another river comes in. So you've got 2 different rivers that come in down there.
Well, if the viewers could help, in what way? What could they do?
So we have a GoFundMe. A lot of people are like, are you giving that to FEMA? No. This GoFundMe is for me and my team at NC Outdoor Adventures to try and distribute as we see fit in our community.
Yeah.
If you want to support me, the best way to do it is to try and go on my NC Outdoor Adventures Facebook page. We have a GoFundMe link. We've posted videos. We have videos of the houses and everything when the river was up to those roofs over there. So like the river actually went to the roofs of those two homes over there, and those are the only two really standing. But again, the water was over up to the roof, so I don't know. It'll probably be tear downs.
Yeah.
But yeah, the best way to support me is just to go on my NC Outdoor Adventures Facebook page, find that GoFundMe page, and contribute there. The other way to do it is, this is going to be, like I said earlier in the video, this is going to be an ongoing effort. These things need to come in waves, not all at once, because they're small departments. We cannot put everything, we can't store everything. So this is going to be an ongoing effort. If you have supplies, hold on to them. There will be needs again. Send them up when they're needed. If you need to get rid of those supplies, you don't want to hold on to them. There are plenty of other places in western North Carolina. But yes, we do need help in the north end of Mitchell County, but we need it in waves. Our biggest needs right now are people with four-wheelers and ATVs that are willing to take in food and supplies from the stations to other places or other people that are stranded or cut off by roads in the river. We need, it's supposed to be really cold Monday, so we're looking at 40-degree temperatures, and it's supposed to be very cold all week. So we're needing propane tanks, we need headlamps, we need gas stoves, we need camping stoves, we need hand warmers, we need headlamps, blankets. We also really need food for diabetics or food for people with special dietary needs. We don't have a lot of that. You know, most of the stuff that came in was like Jell-O and this and that, and there's only certain things that these diabetics and other people with food sensitivities can have. So if you have any of those type of items, we definitely still need those.
Okay, great. Thank you for this interview.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Appreciate it.